Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Karnataka Bank Q4 FY21 and FY21 earnings conference call hosted by Monarch Networth Capital Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Alok Shah from Monarch Networth Capital Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aman. Good evening all. On behalf of Monarch Networth, we welcome you for Karnataka Bank's Q4 FY21 and FY21 results. From the bank side today we have the MD and CEO, Mr. Mahabaleshwara MS, the CEO, Mr. Balchandran YV, the CFO, Mr. Muralidharan Rao, and Gopaldas Pai, sir, the CBO, and other senior management team. Without taking much of your time, I would request Mahabaleshwara sir for his initial comments, post which we can have Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Alok, and good evening and welcome to all of you for this con call of Karnataka Bank for the quarter ended and year ended 31st March 2021. Friends, the year ended 31st March 2021 was definitely one-off sort of year as the entire world witnessed challenging economic conditions and also the associated uncertainties on account of COVID-19 pandemic. Fortunately for us at Karnataka Bank, as we chose the path of being conservative and cautious at the very first sight of the COVID-19 pandemic problem, this year turned out to be a special year for us in terms of performance. As the detailed analysis of the this results has already been uploaded, and you might have already glanced through this. Our operating profit year on year, it went up by 20.67%, and the net profit also went up by annually 11.76% and reached a new high of 482.57 crores. Most importantly, during this just concluded year, we focused more on further strengthening the balance sheet and, of course, on asset quality. As far as balance this sheet strengthening exercise is concerned, the first thing what we focused was on further improving the capital to risk-weighted asset ratio. In fact, the minimum stipulated CRAR by the Reserve Bank of India is 10.875%. Last year, our CRAR was at 12.88%, and this year we have further improved to 14.85%. Similarly, we also focused on PCR. PCR last year it was at 64.67%, and the current year it is further improved to 70.05%. And as far as the asset quality is concerned, both the GNPAs and NNPAs, they have moderated as our GNPA, which was at 2,799 crores about a year back, has now improved to 2,588 crores in absolute terms. That means in absolute terms, there is a reduction of 211 crores in the GNPA during this COVID-19 pandemic affected year. As well as if you look into the NNPA, so it has come down from 1,755 crores to 1,642 crores as at March 31st, 2021. Thereby, NNPA is reduced by 113 crores. This is in terms of absolute numbers. But if you look into the percentages, both the GNPA as well as NNPA, there is about nearly 10 basis point increase. This is mainly on account of the denominator factor. That means our overall loan book has come down by around 9%. This 9% reduction is again on account of reduction of extra flab that we had in the large corporate advances. In fact, our large corporate advances has shown a degrowth of around 55%, whereas the retail and the mid corporates, they have grown by 6 and 7% respectively. On account of this, the retail loan book, which was at 45% of the total loan book about a year back, has improved to 53%, and the mid corporate loan book also has improved from 29% to 34%, and the large corporate loan book has come down from 26% about a year back to 13% as of March 21. Of course, we also focused on the side of the liability, that is the deposit portfolio. What we had attempted and what we are going to continue during the current year is a cost-light deposit portfolio. So in this connection, we took two major initiatives. One is to improve the CASA. So CASA improved to 31.49% from 28.91% about a year back. So this is a new high for Karnataka Bank, 31.49%. And overall cost of deposit also, because of the interest rate moderation and rationalization, the overall cost of deposit also reduced from 6.01% about a year back to 5.29% now. Of course, the SMA portfolio details also we have given in that analysis. So SMA2 was, here SMA2 means we have included the main accounts, the related accounts, and also the accounts which are reported to CRILC platform, that is 5 crores and above, and also below 5 crores. So all very comprehensive SMA2 reporting is done. So in the March 20, it was at 2.99% of the total loan book. As far as March 21 is concerned, it is at 2.64% of the loan book. So in essence, what we have observed is, even though COVID-19 pandemic effect was there in the economy as such, we have been able to navigate very successfully without allowing our asset portfolio to deteriorate. Even in the stress in the system also being very closely monitored. And let us see how this current year would emerge in view of the second wave of the COVID-19. But I am very confident that on account of our first year very good experience, we should be able to handle it in a still better way and a very competitive way. And of course, the digital transactions was another area which has improved to 90.66% of the total transaction. So now this is very much at par with the new generation private sector banks, the digital transaction percentage. And our KBL Vikas transformation journey, our fully owned subsidiary KBL Services Limited, it has commenced its operation with effect from 30th March 2021. So it would act as a huge facilitator of efficiency for the parent company, that is Karnataka Bank. And our digital underwriting of retail loans, it has gained momentum during the last year, that is 2021. In fact, the home loan portfolio, which is fully, the underwriting is fully digitalized. We have now 72% of our daily sanctions on an average is being sanctioned through the digital platform. During the Q3 of FY21, it was at 63%. Similarly, car loan, all the eligible car loans, now all the car loans that whatever that we are sanctioning, around 75% of that is being sanctioned under the digital platform. Last quarter, it was 73%. And last year, we have also started the MSME digital underwriting that during the second quarter of the last year. So now it has reached a level of around 42% of the MSME loan. So in the digital sanctions of the retail loan, I am confident that going forward, we will be able to reach a very ideal level of around 80% of all our retail loans to be sanctioned under the digital underwriting platform. Recently, of course, yesterday when our board of directors meeting was held, we have onboarded a new director, a new additional director. He is Mr. Balakrishna Alse, who is the former executive director with the Oriental Bank of Commerce. So with this, our board now consists of 75% of the members as independent directors, and among them, 2 are women directors. And the board has also recommended a dividend of 18%, and of course subject to, and they have recommended it to the ensuing annual general meeting to be passed. And as far as the way forward for the current year, so you all know that uncertainty will continue. So naturally, we have to be very cautious, very conservative also. So as and when the things start evolving, so we should also jump into the action to encash that opportunity. So our loan book and the overall growth of the business, we are expecting around, we had planned for around 12% to begin with, and a growth, of course, around 12% to 15% growth that we can think of for the current year. And the growth area, especially in the asset side, we will continue to focus on gold loans. See, this was one area wherein there is very good potential. So we have now almost 5% of our loan book under the gold loans. So we plan to take it to a level of 10% of our loan book. And simultaneously, we will continue to focus on the very potential area of MSME with improved underwriting qualities. Of course, the car loans, and there are very good potential for the loan against the properties. But all this growth, we will focus in the area of the retail and the mid-corporates only. And as I said, we will continue to focus on CASA, and that is in tune with our cost-light portfolio. And of course, with the operationalization of our subsidiary, the operational efficiency would also further improve. So, and we will be taking the digital initiative to the new height. So we call it as KBL Next. So end-to-end digital solution we are planning for each and every aspects of banking, not only for the customer interaction, customer-related activities, but even for our internal office management, everything. So there will be a digital end-to-end solution. So that is in the big way to emerge as digital bank of future. So that is what we are planning for new Karnataka Bank. And as you all know, our centenary year is scheduled for the year 23-24. So we have some new benchmarks in terms of performance, in terms of achievement, all we are planning for that. So with that, we are planning for this current year, that is 21-22, should be an year of excellence in spite of the external adverse conditions. So my team are totally determined to go forward in that direction. So with these few words of opening remarks, I will now keep this forum open for the specific questions and answers, if any, from your side. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, they may please press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Pranay Delia from Panchatra Advisors. Please go ahead.
Sir, good evening. I am Pranay Delia. I've been a shareholder of the bank for now close to 6 years, sir. Fairly long time. And I've been hearing of, consolidation and that the bank will focus on growth in the coming years. But unfortunately, the growth has been missing, sir. And this quarter, the numbers, we had a shortfall in net interest margin. The growth was not there. The NPA in terms of percentage terms has gone up. So as a shareholder, if I would have been holding HDFC, ICICI, I would have benefited. I mean, being such a long-term shareholder, I feel that the bank has somehow not unlocked its potential, what the sector could offer.
Yeah, see, this year, especially the year ended March 21st, two things had happened. You might have already noticed that. One is basically the top line, second one is the bottom line. So we have not found it that conducive to focus more on the growth-related things. But as I said, we focused on the two areas where we found it is convenient and safe. So that is why a safe approach was followed as far as the top line is concerned. And we have not allowed the potential areas of the retail and mid-corporate to suffer. There we have already registered a growth of 6 and 7%, which is almost equal to the industry average. And that is the first aspect. Second one is, in spite of that, we have able to fully protect the bottom line. You might have already seen the net profit has already grown at a level of around 12%. And this 12% net profit, it has been very consistent for the last 4 quarters, everything. So that is the approach. And going forward, when once the economy is found favorable, definitely we will be encashing that opportunity, because the sales team, whatever that we have constituted, sales marketing separate team, that is a credit marketing department, everything. So they are in place, and we will be able to encash the opportunity at the very first side of turnaround of the economy.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Bhavik Shah from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. So thanks for the opportunity. So very detailed disclosures. So what would be the interest reversals this quarter?
Interest reversal this quarter
on slippages.
As you know that because of the Supreme Court stay order, NPAs were not marked, and a whole bunch of NPAs got marked during the last quarter, and the unrealized interest during the last quarter is around 125 crores, which has been reversed from the income account.
That was for the full year.
Yeah, but it happened in the last year.
Yeah. In fact, in our last year, carry forward effect was there.
Yeah. Whole year's unrealized interest got reversed during the last quarter.
Okay. And sir, I understand we are targeting growth of 12%. But sir, as in how confident are we to clock 12%, and what would be the focus areas? Like, I understand gold loan, the share would rise from 5 to 10%, but apart from that, and considering
at the beginning of the year, yes, definitely we were all confident and optimistic. But during the April, everything was going as per our expectation. May appear to be again a troubled month. June also, we don't know what would be in store, because how well the country would be able to control the wave 2. That would really prove whether we can really focus big in the initial months. But what we have planned is, first 3 to 4 months growth may be at a muted level, but thereafter, definitely we should be able to make a big turnaround and go big in the growth-related areas. I have already identified certain areas for the growth. As I said, the MSME, agriculture, and the gold loans, as well as the car loan, and of course the loan against properties. These are all the areas. In fact, last year also, our gold loan portfolio grew by 41.92%. MSME grew by 21.15%. Agriculture portfolio grew by 5.87%. And the loan against properties also grew by 8.62%. And these portfolios are performing well. And these are the initial areas that we have identified under our sector prioritization activity.
And sir, just we understand the slippages from MSME book was quite elevated. So, can you broadly give us the breakup of slippages into retail, agri, MSME, and corporate?
One second. See, MSME, you have a slippage, this sector. MSME as of now, out of the total book size of 14,653, NPA is 979.17 crores, that which constitutes around 6.68% of that portfolio. And the SMA2 is at around 593.40. So 4.05% of the total MSME performing advances, that is under SMA2. And agriculture, the present NPA is at 6.64%, and SMA2 is at 1.64%. So those are the two major items. And if you look at the housing loan portfolio, the NPA, including not only our Apnagar schematic loan, but even the non-priority sector, everything, the NPA is at 3.08% and SMA2 at 2.38%.
Okay, sir, as in I was asking for breakup of slippages segment-wise.
Slippages in this particular sector?
For the whole year, sir.
Slippage right now we don't have. We will furnish you. So we will make a note of it. NPA number and SMA2 numbers I have. The sector-wise slippage we will let you know.
Sure, sir. And sir, one more thing, sir. Sir, what exposure do we have to Karnataka in terms of advances, and how has the collection efficiency panned out in Karnataka versus the rest of India for March, April, and May months?
What was your second question?
So, how is the collection efficiency panned out in Karnataka versus rest of the India? Because I understand Karnataka was under lockdown.
Yeah, not only Karnataka, almost top 6 states which are adversely hit by COVID-19 pandemic. There is a localized lockdown, not the entire state. In few district-wise lockdown, even the close down of the branches, bank branches are also seen. As far as Karnataka state business contribution is concerned, we are this total business contribution from the state of Karnataka is 59.21%, and the CD ratio is 49.33%. So this collection has come to normal situation during the month of March and April. So may not be that of the April. There could be slight deficiency in the collection during the month of May. So once we complete this May month, we will come to know what exactly is the position. But I'm confident that by July onwards, the position may further improve substantially. But 2 months, yes, that stress will be there. So with regarding various relief measures and all, with that we should be able to handle it effectively going forward, because we have another 10 months during this year. So definitely that would prove advantage for all of us.
Sir, any ballpark number on collection efficiency? And one last question, sir. Sir, how do you see your PCR panning out over the next year? Because we are at a very low PCR of 37%, specific PCR.
PCR in the banking sector, it is calculated including the technical write-off. So in our bank, including the technical write-off, it is at 70.05%, and excluding the technical write-off, it is at 36.56%. This will continue to engage our attention, because this will also help us in further reducing the NNPA and other things, because all along we have been focusing on this. So it continue to engage our attention, and let us see whether we can take it to a level of 40 to 50% going forward.
Okay, sir. So thanks a lot, sir. So that's it from my side.
Thanks.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sandeep Mahajan as an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Yes, the results are good, but it could be better. And so I don't understand one thing is, in your point number 4 or 12, in which, you could have carried on this 189 crores over three quarters and you have put in 1 quarter. Was there any need to do it in 1 quarter rather than over 3 quarters?
Yeah, see, the last year carried forward of that 180 crores plus our first quarter.
Hello?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that we have lost the line for the management. We request all of you to stay connected while we reconnect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently waiting. We have the management connected. Over to you, sir. You may please go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. Sudhir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, your point is regarding the item number 12, that is 189.37 crores.
Yes,
so
sir.
actually, there was provision for us to amortize it in the current year, the 3 quarters equally. What
Yes,
we
sir.
thought is it is better to absorb this type of losses upfront. That is why during the first quarter itself, we had absorbed that entire the hit. That means it was reversed to the reserves and surplus. And that shows the ability to absorb the future shocks also. So keeping that in mind, to further strengthen the balance sheet, we took that hit upfront, even though there was a provision to amortize it for the rest of the 3 quarters.
Yes.
It was a prudent, proactive measure.
But this it depresses the net profit.
No, because it would have been amortized over 3 quarters, and we took it in the first quarter. In fact, even that first quarter also, our profit went up by around 10-11%.
Okay, take it. Sir, next part is, whereas your corporate banking thing has come down by about 6,000 crores, and your retail banking has gone up by about 1,000 crores. Why and a lot of this money is just lying in investments and in cash. What was reason for such a drastic drawdown in the corporate banking?
No, see, our corporate banking portfolio was not performing as per the expectation. Not performing in the sense the delinquency in the past was higher, and also yield on from that particular portfolio was also not up to the expected level. When we made an in-depth internal analysis, we found that the retail and mid-corporates, the performance is also better, risk is also well diversified, and yield from this particular sector is also very, very attractive. Keeping that in mind, we took up this exercise of portfolio realignment. So as I have already said, even during the pandemic year, the retail advances grew by 6%, and the mid-corporate by 7%. So we will continue that growth. It could be 6%, could be 12 or 15% during the current year. So now we are in a better position to tap this particular sector. And we will be making good of the loss that what we had suffered. That is, of course, it was a conscious decision also in the corporate sector. We will definitely make good of that in the retail and mid-corporate sector, which would also provide an element of sustainability to our credit portfolio. That was the very, very cautious and conscious decision taken by our bank.
Even the the retail is also digitized.
Yeah, that advantage is also there. See, in our KBL Vikas journey, we are now almost entirely digitalized. That is, the loan underwriting is digitalized for the retail sector. That huge advantage is there that will be definitely available for the current year onwards.
Sir, and there has been a shortfall in the book value of your investments in HTM. Has that been also provided fully in this quarter?
Depreciation on HTM is not required to be provided. It's only on the FS category and all. There was no depreciation on portfolio other than our SR. SR is getting depreciated. That's all. Portfolio is not depreciated.
Because you have made a statement that the market value investments held under HTM category.
That is for HTM category.
That's what I'm talking about, HTM.
Yeah. HTM category, there is a depreciation of around 279 crores, but it need not be booked in the books of account as per the RBI guidelines.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. Request you to join the queue for any follow-up. The next question is from the line of Rishikesh Oza from RoboCapital. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Rishikesh, please.
Hi, sir. Sir, just one question. Could you please give a credit cost guidance for next year?
Yeah, see, credit cost, there are two components involved in it. You all very well know it. One is the slippage related thing. Second one is our proactive provisioning so as to improve the PCR and of course eventually our CRAR also. So on account of that, this year, even though it is at 2.37%, next year it could be in the range of around 2%. And going forward, I am very confident that it would be below 2%.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pranav Tendulkar from Rare Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Actually, I just wanted to know, first of all, slippage guidance for next year. That is one. And second thing is, sir, why don't we track?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we have lost the line for the current participant.
Got disconnected, yeah. We lost
Yes,
it.
we will move to the next question, sir. That is from the line of Bhavik Shah from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
So thanks for the opportunity again. So just on, so we have a restructured book of around 1,700 crores. Sir, at what rate can we expect slippages from this rate, from this book, I mean, going forward?
So from the restructured book, you are asking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, I think we have already furnished that. Restructured loans and related accounts. See, during the current year, of course, it was comprising 3.30% of our gross loan book, comprising of 1,738 crores. And of that, NPA is all 248 crores. That is 14.3% of the restructured loan book is already shipped to NPA. So the slippage could be in the same range from the restructured loan book, maybe around 15%, below 15% for the going forward also. Because if you look into the SMA2, that what we have already furnished in our analysis, SMA2 for March 21 in this particular portfolio is at 6.61%. So that is a clear-cut indication that it is well contained, may not go beyond that particular level going forward.
Okay. And sir, amidst the second COVID wave, what extent of potential restructuring do we expect?
Yeah, for the restructuring 1.0, I had predicted about 2 to 4% of our total portfolio. So in this 1,738.41 crores of the restructured loan book, the OTR 1 was consisting of around 459 crores, and the MSME restructuring was 337.93 crores. And other type of restructure was 940.70. And in this 940.70, the previous restructure was around 536. So all put together, the percent to GBC was 3.30%. OTR 1 was 0.87% of the loan book. MSME restructure was 0.4% of the loan book. And of course, other 1.78. Going forward, also under the restructuring 2.0, most probably it would be in the range of 2 to 4%. And we have already constituted a special task force under the leadership of CBO, Chief Business Officer, to examine each and every sector and each and every account for restructuring, if at all that is to be done, with restructuring 2.0 initiative. That process would be completed most probably by September end. So account-wise details will be calculated. We will be interacting with the respective beneficiaries also, and we will be extending the appropriate relief measures as per the regulatory guidance.
Okay. So I understand you're guiding for additional 2 to 4% of restructuring in the COVID second wave. And sir, there was just one clarification needed. So what falls under other restructuring?
Other restructuring, other than the MSME, and see, OTR 2 is up to 25 crores. So in the other restructure, there was about 25 crores, and this time, of course, last time the corporate advances were also there. So in fact, we have identified two accounts for restructuring of the big accounts. Of course, they were constituting about 400 crores.
So what segments, what sectors are these two accounts from?
One sector was the trading. Another one is construction activity.
And sir, any ROA guidance?
ROA, we have been saying our level by saying. I would touch upon NIM, ROA and ROE also. NIM, of course, the current year, it has slightly improved to 2.91%. That is as of March 21st. Last year, it was at 2.84. So our endeavor should be to take it at above 3% by this year end. Then ROA also some positive traction was observed for the entire year, 0.53 to 0.57. So I think it may take about minimum couple of years to reach a level of 1%. And ROE also from 7.35% to 7.65% for the entire year. Again, to reach a level of 10% plus, it may take another couple of years. Of course, these are engaging our attention. And once we are able to minimize the slippages, then definitely these things would look better. And that type of turnaround, the initial signals are already there, even though it was a COVID-19 affected year. So it all depends on how, to what extent we will be able to sustain that quality of the advances, which I am very confident that we should be during the current year. And with that, these numbers should look attractive.
Okay. And sir, so just one more clarification. So you mentioned that there were two accounts, large corporate accounts under restructuring totaling to 400 crores. Sir, are these NPA as of now, or they are standard?
No, they are not NPA, they are fully standard.
They are fully standard.
And the CIA also signed, and it is a standard category.
Okay, so it is okay. So it is under standard restructure of 1,700 crores.
Yeah. They are not. If they are NPA, it would have come. It would have been disclosed in a separate piece. They are not NPA.
Okay. And sir, so what is the ECL disbursement amount? Sir, I understand there is a slide which mentions amount advances under ECLGS. So is it disbursement or
GECL 2,198.94 crores. This is the disbursement.
Okay, sir.
Sanction may be another 200 crores extra. Around, it could be in the range of 2,300 or so. So almost everything is dispersed. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks a lot, sir. And sir, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Pranav Tendulkar from Rare Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, just two questions. One is that is there any slippage guidance that you can give for next year? That is one. Second is, sir, up to what level of employees have we actually distributed our ESOPs? Is it branch manager? And if not, then why not do it in this, this AGM, get that approval in this AGM? That is second. And third is that how open bank management and largest shareholder is to say get into the bank one or two private equity players or guys who can actually bring more managerial assistance and also have a board sit in the bank. Because your bank is so much undervalued for the quality of franchise that you have.
Yes.
I think 3 or 4 big changes can actually unleash a very good future return. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think you raised 3 questions. One is regarding slippage, second one is ESOP, third one is further enhancing the equity-related things. Slippage, right. I think I have already answered. I said that it would be in the range of around 2% for the current year, and going forward it should come down. Because my slippage was 3.75% for the last year, and this year it is only 2.44%, and that too in the backdrop of the COVID-19 wave 1. So for the current year also, we are hopeful that the slippage would be in that same range, less than that, and going forward it would be below 2%. ESOP, yes, we have already launched 2 such schemes. It is very much there in the bank. So it is not up to the manager or up to the officer. It is purely based on their performance. We have this MD's club and other things. So wherever there is very exceptional and very good performance, they are rewarded with the ESOP. So that would continue. See, wherever that is required, we have absolutely made up our mind to continue this type of rewarding to encourage the performance as well as the involvement of all our employees, right from, of course, MD to the even branch level attenders also, because they all have different KRAs. In accordance with that, depending on their performance evaluation management, it is being considered. As far as the third one is concerned, yes, the issue is 2 things there. One is the capital adequacy ratio. Second one is the right price for our share. So capital adequacy ratio is now, as I said, it is comfortable at 14.85%. But however, even though the book value has gone up, 213 rupees now, but it is not properly reflected in the market also. So in that direction, definitely what are all required to be taken, we will definitely continue to take that. That is why the first and foremost is to further strengthen the professionalism of the board. You may be aware that we had inducted good number of independent directors in the recent past. And as an institutional investors onboarding or whatever that is required going forward, we will be definitely we will be definitely examining all those issues in the larger interest of all the stakeholders.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bunty Chawla from IDBI Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. First of all, on the employee expenses, if we see, we have reported 240 crores of employee expenses during this quarter, which has been lower as compared to YOY as well as on a sequential basis. So if you can share what should be the normal run rate we should see in FY22, and as well as if you can share your guidance on cost to income ratio.
Here, the establishment expenses consists of 2 components. One is almost a fixed component, that is the salary. Second one is, I should call this superannuation benefit as a variable component because it is varying in terms of the market yield and other things. And current year, we are not going big for any recruitment and other things because of the digitalization and all. My employee cost may remain at the same level, subject to variation in the superannuation benefit. So having said that, the second part of your question, that is cost to income ratio. So the two favorable things have happened. Last year, same quarter, that is the fourth quarter, our cost to income ratio was 58.17%, and this quarter, that is the fourth quarter of the FY21, it has improved to 53.90%. But if you look at for the entire year, it was at 49.67%, and for the current full year, it has further improved to 45.65%. So it should be going forward our endeavor to have it at around 45%. So last year also we had aimed to have it at 45%. Having achieved that, our responsibility to maintain this and further improve it.
Thank you for this question, sir. Secondly, any equity raise, any capital plan during this year we have?
My dear friend, that is a continuous process. See, we will be keeping all the options examining, and at the right time, definitely we will look into that. But as of now, since our capital adequacy ratio is comfortable at 14.85%, so that is also one of the factors to be borne in while onboarding, while undertaking this capital augmentation efforts.
Okay, sir. Sir, lastly, just the confirmation. You said slippage ratio guidance at 2%, as well as credit cost guidance for FY22 2%. Am I right in that?
The slippage ratio slightly in the same range as I said.
Okay.
2.44% is the present thing. It could be in the same range for the current year, and going forward it would be below 2%.
Okay, and credit cost 2%.
Credit cost also. So since we are now in the phase of making proactive provision, it could also be in the same range for the couple of years. Now it is 2.37. Last year also almost at the same level, 2.28. So credit cost at this level, what I am visualizing is not mainly because of the slippage, but also because of our proactive steps in accelerating our provision.
So what is our internal target PCR for FY22, if you can share with us?
PCR?
Yeah, provision coverage ratio, if you can.
At the same level. See, 70.05% is the present PCR. It was at 64.70. We will try hard, and definitely we will be always interested in maintaining it at above 70%.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, and best of luck for the future, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Deepak Pai as an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi. I am a relatively new investor, and I do not know much about banking, frankly. But there is one thing that I've noticed over the past 4 years.
1 minute. Yesterday, I have sent a communication to all our shareholders through our email. Have you received that?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I have noticed over the past 4 years, the bank has been giving us shocks in Q4 in terms of net profit. Is that something that is, I think it was about 11 crores in 18, the profit was about 62 in 19, and then 27 in 20, and 31 this year, right? Roughly, thereabouts. So is that, are those all exceptions, or is there a method to this? That is one part. I understand this year your provisions were higher, but then, it's been the trend for the last 4 years now.
Let me first
That's
answer
one.
that question.
Yeah.
See, it is a natural process in the sense every quarter is a unique quarter, not just the first quarter or the second or third or the fourth quarter. Depending on the overall operational profit that we have to make provisions as per the regulatory requirement and all. But you have already noted that this year the fourth quarter was something unique. All NPA provision, NPA recognition, everything we had to do during this last quarter. So the accumulated this effect was also there. But nevertheless, our effort would always be to give a consistent performance, consistent results. So that is what I made in my opening remarks also. On an average, about 10 to 15% of this bottom line growth consistently we are providing. So from that angle, that is not an exception. Your second question, please.
First answer. The second one is, as you look to balance your portfolio more towards perhaps retail, there are two parts. One is, what would your strategy be given that there would be more competition for retail loans? And B, will that mean an increase in your marketing and sales costs? And by how much?
Yeah, see, both these aspects are taken care of during our digital journey. Yes, as you have rightly pointed out, retail is the buzzword for almost all the banks. That clearly indicates that there is a good potential also. Even during this pandemic affected economic scenario, the home loans, everything, there is a very good demand. And since we have now embarked upon this digital underwriting, so we will be making it more competitive, as well as the quality aspects is also taken care of. So with this, we are expecting good business in that particular portfolio.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and dhanyawad, sir, for this opportunity. Sir, if I could sum up from the interaction we had currently, sir, as the book value stands currently at 214 rupees, and you guiding for an ROA of 1% in the coming 2 years, and the NIM, sir, I missed the part. What is your guidance for the net interest margin for going forward?
It should reach 3% during this year, because it is already at 2.91% for the full year.
Okay, and for a 2-year horizon, sir, what should we be looking into?
Definitely 3% plus, sir. We will be able to take it to a level of 3% by this year. Thereafter, then let us see.
Sir, as you told that market is not valuing the equity correctly, so what is actually the management timeline, and what are the key milestones that we investors and the analysts should keep tracking that would result in the enhanced or the right value of equity? If you could, sir, just briefly summarize for us, sir, for the benefit.
See, as an investor, I am not an investor. So I may not be able to give any suggestions or advice to you. But only thing with my limited knowledge, what I can share with you is keep tracking the numbers that is being published by us. That is why we have also started proactive communication to all the shareholders. So
yes, sir, I have received the mail.
Yeah. The moment the audited results are scrutinized by the audit committee and approved by the board of directors, we are sharing all those information. Second one is, of course, this is the direct transmission of the information to you. Second one is we also have this practice of uploading a detailed analysis of the performance, whatever that the investors would require to take an informed decision. We are analyzing and we are uploading it in our website. Please go through that. And these are the two things definitely you should follow. And
sir, that is true.
Disclosures are being made to the stock exchange as well.
So that's all fine, sir.
Yeah, apart from that, of course, definitely we are here to take care of the requirements of all the stakeholders. So our efforts in a transparent and effective manner would continue going forward.
Sir, I was looking for the key milestone from the management point of view, say 2-3 years down the line, that will result in enhanced shareholders' value. So I was looking for that comment from you.
See, we had focused on not 2, we had focused on 5 areas. One is we were very much interested in improving the CRAR. So that we have achieved now. Now it is at 14.85%. In fact, this is the highest ever CRAR for Karnataka Bank. So that reflects the strong fundamentals. Second one is the PCR. PCR also now at 70.05%. This was one of the very well aspiring area for us. So we have achieved that, and we will definitely keep it at above 70%. And the third one is our digital transactions percentage. We had thought of taking it to a level of almost equal to the new generation private sector bank. So now it is at 90%. That is the huge advantage. And the fourth one is, as I said, the cost light portfolio. So that means 31.49%. That is the fourth important thing. And the fifth one is definitely going forward, all the digital underwriting. So these are the fundamental changes that we had focused in the past and we have been able to achieve. And of course, the next three important areas could be NIM, ROA, ROE, and also containing the slippage ratio and the credit cost. So our effort will be there, because once we are able to effectively handle this NPA, which we have been reasonably successful during the current year. So going forward, I think those problems will not be there. So our NIM, ROA, ROE would definitely look attractive going forward. Keep tracking these numbers, and I will also keep sharing these informations with informed investors like you.
So one small point, when we look at the revenue, the segment revenue and the segment results, we find this for this quarter in particular, the treasury operation income have gone down considerably, taking the proportionate on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So any specific, and also on the corporate banking fund. So any specific that we have been made, because on the revenue part, that the decline is not that severe, whereas the bottom line there is a strong shrinkage. So how should we read into these two numbers for treasury operations and corporate banking?
No, the segment reporting, whenever we are doing the segment reporting, in view of the, as the MD has already said that some credit there was not growth, then the money was put into the investment. When we do the investment, the cost of investment is getting reduced there. So that is the reason. One of the item was that. And another item is that what are the depreciation that has been affecting the investment portfolio to some extent, and SR and all is getting affected. So it is actually transfer pricing formula actually. It's not segment reporting is based upon some kind of cost that has been allocated to each of the segment. And even for the treasury sections also, the cost is get allocated, administrative cost gets allocated.
So that happened in the fourth quarter only, sir? That is what my point is. Money, just to make understanding, sir, on a revenue of 341 crore, the treasury income is 78 crore, whereas for December quarter on a revenue of 389 crore, the treasury income is 130 crore. So I just wanted to understand the reasons for the decline.
What has happened is that, in fact, our earlier quarters, if you compare, we were earning, because of the market conditions, the profit on sale of investment during the first 3 quarters was very good. From February onward, this quarter, we are not able to earn much profit during this segment. So that has also affected the last quarter segment reporting. Because first 3 quarters we have earned a profit of around 600 crores on trading profit, and the last quarter only 25 crores.
It was basically market driven. You can't expect that in every quarter there would be trading profit, even though our endeavor is to get the profit, but again it was basically an external influenced factor.
Right, sir. But the bulk of your profits are from these treasury operations only, sir. It was this year also 778 crores. So if they are on a declining trend, then that what is the indication?
Yeah, last 2 years we could earn a decent profit in that portfolio. Let us see. Our endeavor should be to get a profit. It is too early because we have not even completed 2 months. So it all again depending on the market opportunities. So we are confident and optimistic that we should be able to get some decent profit from that portfolio also going forward.
And lastly, on the dividend payout, sir, what was there as per the RBI formula, the maximum that could have been given, or 18% was the maximum dividend payout?
It was actually as per the Reserve Bank of India, dividend payout ratio formula is there. Matrix has been given for dividend payout matrix. And based upon that dividend payout matrix, the bank is eligible to have a payout ratio of 25%.
Payout ratio?
Yes, payout ratio of 25% is eligible. This time, what is that out of that, only 12.5% payout is possible. 50%
payout ratio.
That is meant 12.5% of the profit can only be distributed.
So that works
Right.
out
So
we
have conserved.
60 crores.
And as a result, it translated into 18% dividend. Whatever
Right.
permissible as per the extent regulatory guidelines, we have considered that for the dividend.
Mm-hmm. Right, sir. And lastly, sir, on the GNPA part, sir, what is your guidance on what are we looking going forward? Looking at the books and the provision coverage ratio, what should be eyeing in terms of the GNPA for the next 2 years, sir?
I have every reason to believe that GNPA is in the mode of moderation because it was at 2,799 crores last year, now at 2,588. That is why in our presentation we have also made what was the GNPA in the area of big ticket advances and mid-corporate retail and all. So almost all the big ticket advances of even 50 crores and above, the stress is fully absorbed. So with that in mind, the GNPA is likely to, in absolute terms, it is likely to come down. So that is why I am optimistic that the slippage ratio would also moderate at around 2% and going forward below 2%.
Right, sir. And our investment...
See, this year definitely we have to be very, very cautious because every day with this onset of COVID-19 wave 2, every day is a different day. So only thing is depending on our past experience of having handled it in a very, very effective manner, I am confident that we should be able to sail through smoothly during this wave 2 as well.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be our last question for today.
If there are any questions, we will take the last one. Hello?
So that was the last question. I would be handing the call over to Alok Shah for any closing remarks. Alok?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mahabaleshwar, and the entire team for taking out your time and putting forward the thought through on the results and the way we look forward. Thank you all for joining. Okay.
Thank you. I wish you all a safe and healthy life. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Monarch Networth Capital Limited, that concludes today's call. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.